Now let's begin with the highlights.
President William Ruto defends Hustler Fund, stating that the fund has been benefiting millions despite Human Rights Commission criticism. IEBC assures of credible 2027 polls as it warns politicians against incitement. Government reaffirms youth empowerment drive as it unveils student-centered funding at the 2025 Youth Week. And Gachagua continues push for one-term narrative, voicing discontent with Kenya Kwanza in US address.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
On the sign language interpretation, we have Brian Peru engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Let's begin. Now, President William Ruto has defended the Hustler Fund against mounting criticism, insisting that the program is delivering tangible benefits to millions of Kenyans. Speaking at a private sector roundtable in Nairobi, Ruto dismissed claims by the Kenya Human Rights Commission that the initiative had failed. Let's get more from our very own Lucy Medosa.
Speaking during a roundtable event in Nairobi, President William Ruto dismissed claims made by a report presented to the public by the Kenya Human Rights Commission, claiming the program had a 68% default rate that had led to the loss of 340 shillings for every 500 shillings distributed.
Our critics, the naysayers, the perpetual pessimists, and the chorus that never sees anything working in Kenya would have you believe that the Hustler Fund is a failure, as it is indicated in today's newspapers. They say this because they either do not understand or refuse to acknowledge the daily realities of millions of Kenyans this fund was designed to empower.
According to Ruto, the fund had distributed over 72 billion to 26 million Kenyans, mobilized more than 5 billion shillings in savings, and provided vital working capital to micro-entrepreneurs. He urged the public to ignore the naysayers. Addressing concerns over loan repayment, Ruto rejected the notion of a 60% default rate, asserting the fund's recovery rate stands at 83.3%. Was matching the formal banking sectors, which stands at 83.6%. He maintains that the data proves that the scheme is sustainable and impactful.
Those same critics are spreading fear and despondency by falsely claiming that the fund has a 60% default rate. So what exactly are these people telling us? That ordinary, hard-working Kenyans are serial defaulters? Of course they are not.
Kenya Human Rights Commission proposing that the fund be disbanded for allegedly wasting government funds due to losses. Ruto vowed to stay focused on his reforms agenda. With the Kenya Human Rights Commission proposing that the fund be disbanded for allegedly wasting government funds due to losses, Ruto vowed to stay focused on his reforms agenda, dismissing critics he labels as merchants of doom and negativity.
I want to say that we will not be distracted. Those who, when facts do not serve their agenda, resort to fabricating narratives to prop up their falsehood. We understand, we remain unchallenged in building a new, inclusive, fair, equitable society.
The Cooperatives and MSMEs Development Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya also dismissed the report and proposal, accusing the organization of attempting to sentence the fund to death without trial.
Now, away from that, let's move on. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has affirmed its commitment to delivering a credible and transparent general election in 2027. IEBC Chairperson Erastus Ethekon addressed the nation, urging political leaders to refrain from making incendiary remarks that could polarize the country. He emphasized that incitement, particularly from politicians, is unacceptable and undermines democratic progress. The Commission also revealed plans to consult with the Attorney General to establish clear timelines for early campaign activities. Now, moving on, former President and Jubilee Party leader Uhuru Kenyatta has issued a 21 days notice convening a special national delegates conference set to take place later this month. The meeting is to be held at the Jockey Club in Nairobi will address three key issues: receiving a status report from the formulating party policies and discussing other pressing matters. The announcement follows the party's first NEC meeting since Uhuru reclaimed leadership after a prolonged court battle. Jubilee's Deputy Secretary General Pauline Njoroge described the NEC meeting as a turning point, reaffirming the country's unity, direction, and readiness for the 2027 general elections. The government is intensifying efforts to empower young people through education and skills development as part of its broader national transformation agenda. Deputy President Professor Githure Kindiki, accompanied by Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba and Sports CS Salim Vuria, led the 2025 Youth Week celebrations at Pwani University. The leaders reiterated the government's unwavering commitment to education reforms, highlighting a student-centered funding model that prioritizes access, equity, and long-term sustainability.
Just on universities, we are implementing a comprehensive strategy to empower young people through tertiary education and training in both universities and TVETs, as well as through the recognition of prior learning.
10 million youth in our country. The youth are a source of innovation, progression, and creativity. And therefore, as a ministry, we take your direction and that of His Excellency the President to ensure that we make connections between the youth and opportunities.
Now, in a significant media engagement during the official opening of the Midwest DCP office in Kansas City, USA, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua continued the push for one-term narrative even as he expressed dissatisfaction with the Kenya Kwanza regime.
During a media engagement at the official opening of the Midwest DCP office in Kansas City, USA, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua provided an interim report on the ongoing consultations by the opposition, giving insights into their political strategy moving forward in preparation for 2027 elections.
So that we have one candidate to face William Ruto in the next general election. I have personally committed before the people of Kenya that if I'm not chosen to be the flag bearer, I will be more than willing to support whoever is agreed on. My colleagues, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, has committed himself that in case he's not the flag bearer, he'll support whoever is agreed upon. Dr. Fred Matiang'i has committed that if he's not the flag bearer, he'll support whoever has been agreed on.
Gachagua strongly advocated for a constitutional amendment that would cap the presidency to a single term. He accused state agencies of weaponizing the criminal justice system to suppress dissent, punish opposition leaders, and intimidate critics of the government.
For William Ruto to be president of Kenya, because he persuaded me and persuaded the rest of Kenyans that under his leadership, the criminal justice system will never be used to manage politics, and it will never be weaponized against opponents. Again, this is one of the greatest deceptions that ever took place in Kenya since independence. William Ruto deceived all of us, and we believed him, that he will never use the criminal justice system to deal with those opposed to him.
Despite his sharp critique, Gachagua expressed optimism following the motion tabled by the chairman of the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee to review Kenya's designation as a major non-NATO ally, a move he believes could enhance accountability and strengthen democratic values.
And I'm very excited that yesterday in the Senate, the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee tabled a motion for the American legislative arm to review the status of Kenya as a non-NATO ally because of violation of human rights, because of abductions, extrajudicial killings, using...
Addressing Kenyans both at home and in the diaspora, Gachagua underscored the opposition's commitment to justice reforms and inclusive empowerment programs. This underscores his sharpened strategy rooted in reform, resistance, and rallying the diaspora. Paulette Akoth, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, coming back to the country and away from matters of politics, traders at Ntolele Trading Center in Narok East Sub-County have raised alarm after the newly constructed market stalls were allegedly handed over to outsiders. The move has sparked widespread protests and accusations of favorism, with the locals claiming the allocation process lacked transparency and sidelined long-time community members.
Tensions are escalating in Ntolele Trading Center, Narok East Sub-County, following allegations of irregular and opaque allocation of stalls at the newly commissioned modern market. The 100 million facility officially opened by President William Ruto in June was intended to house 200 traders and stimulate local commerce. However, residents and long-term traders are now accusing county officials of sidelining them in favor of politically connected outsiders.
Hii soko ilijengwa na Mheshimiwa Rais na ilijengewa wananchi wa Mosiro, wananchi wa Ndulele. Na hii Ndulele iko na watu tofauti. Iko na watu mara 4, iko Damat, iko Kekonyoke, iko Purko, na iko hawa wananchi wengine. Na sisi hatuna ubaguzi. Na hatuna shida na mtu yoyote. Lakini tunaomba governor heshima ya soko na ya watu wa Ndulele waliokuchagua iwekwe.
According to the community, the allocation process was carried out secretly, with many traders discovering the stalls already locked and assigned, contrary to an earlier agreement that distribution would be fair and inclusive. The original plan was to apportion the stalls equitably among the 3 local Maasai clans, Purko, Ildamat, and Kikonyokie, as well as other communities that have long conducted business in the area.
Venye watu wamefanya kugawa soko wamegawa na kinyume. Juu unaona kama kuna mtu anaitwa Karbala amechukua kama stall 7, kama kuna wengine hawajapata hata moja. Ningependa kusema hatuwezi kubali na hatuwezi kubali hata siku moja. Mpaka igawanywe venye tuliagana. Juu hapa Ndulele kuna Damat, kuna Purko, kuna Kegonyoke na kuna Kikuyu na kuna watu wengine pia. Tungesema tungependa amani igawanywe na haki na amani.
The process has sparked widespread discontent, with accusations of nepotism, favorism, and lack of public participation. Women's groups in particular have condemned what they term as deliberate exclusion and demand a complete review of the process.
Nimesema kama mama tugawie soko equal kwa sababu hapa kuna kisungumukuti. Kekonyoke wapewe 50, Damat 50, Purko 50. Hiyo ingine itabaki 50, tupe hawa mama wengine ambaye wa makabila wako Ndulele. La sifo, soko ifungwe, hakuna kugawanya soko bila kila mtu kukaa chini. Hivyo ndio tumesema.
Musiro ward leadership had joined in the protest, calling for accountability and urging the county to uphold transparency. Governor Patrick Ntutu has denied any involvement in the disputed allocations, stating that he had delegated the process to local committees. Still, residents insist that political interference has tainted the credibility of the entire exercise. As pressure mounts, calls are growing for the county government to revoke the current list and implement a fresh, transparent, community-driven allocation process. Glory Kadure, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, butchers at Thika Main Slaughterhouse are protesting massive losses after 2-month electricity disconnection. They blame the Kiambu County government for failing to settle a 36,000 power bill despite daily levy collections. The outage has led to meat spoilage, insecurity at night, and disrupted early morning operations. Chairman Stephen Mwangi and butcher Simon Njoroge say that their pleas to county officials have been ignored. They now purchase equipments and hire laborers from their own pockets. The butchers warn of a looming meat supply crisis and are urging Governor Kimani Wamatangi to intervene.
Tuko na miezi mbili bila stima na sisi tunachinja mchana kutoka saa 1 wakati kuna mwangaza. Kazi yetu imerudi chini kwa sababu ya kukosa stima. Mbeleni tulikuwa tunachinja usiku ndio tulikuwa tunapata customer. Sasa kazi yetu imerudi chini. Hata hatuna customer, gaza siku hizi wameisha, ndio tunarudi tunachinja
sana. Juu stima tulikatiwa, tunaambiwa bill ni ya 36,000. Tuko na miezi mbili kama tujalipa hiyo stima, na tukijaribu kupigia hizi maofisi zao za county government hakuna kitu wanatusaidianga nayo. Wanatuambia italipwa ama sisi tulipe wenyewe, na kazi yetu imerudi nyuma. Juu tulikuwa tunachinja kutoka masaa saa 10, saa tunachinja masaa kutoka saa 2.
Now from Thika, let's take a short break and then we'll be back with more news stories from across the country. Now stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Kemuma James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
they find it quite strange talking to you.
You should just make schools integrated,
inclusive setups,
by providing the right facilities.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, the second advent is imminent.
And welcome back. We are on this particular broadcast with Brian, Peru. My name is Yvonne Kemuma. Now let's continue. The Mama Kenya movement is urging the Ministries of Labor and Foreign Affairs to shut down rogue agencies trafficking Kenyans into abusive jobs abroad. This follows the return of a 21-year-old Emma Zame from Lebanon, mentally scattered after being forced to care for snakes by her employer.
Mama Kenya movement chairperson Amina Ridwani has decried of the numerous reports received of Kenyan domestic workers facing abuse abroad. She highlighted the case of 21-year-old Emma Zame, who was meted out punishment for failure to take care of snakes. She urged the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to put in place measures that will allow follow-up on the whereabouts of domestic workers, especially amid the rising concerns about forced labor and organ trafficking.
Mmemchukua mfanyikazi, kuna mechanism gani, mikakati gani, mbinu imewekwa katika watu wa Foreign Affairs na wale ma-agents kuhakikisha wana follow-up hawa wamepeleka wapi? Hasa wakati huu kuna watu hapa viungo vinauzwa. Utafikiri mtu amepotea kumbe viungo ameuawa. Tuna kisa cha mtoto ambao tunasikiza tunafuatilia, alitoka hapa na kufanya kazi ya nyumbani. Kufika huko yeye amewekwa kuosha nyoka, kulisha nyoka na kikataa anapigwa. Alifanya kusaidiwa na nyanya mwenye nyumba. Escape bila chochote na mpaka sasa status zake ilikuwa ni mbaya kabisa.
According to Doreen Kipesa, the Secretary General of the movement, stated that many domestic workers are traumatized upon their return to the country and as a result requested parents not to sacrifice their children in pursuit of greener pastures abroad.
Vijana wetu wanauawa, wasichana wetu wanauawa, wakitoka nje wanakuwa traumatized. Wengine tunajua lakini wengine wanafichwa kwa manyumba, sasa hatujui. Ombi langu ni kwa wazazi, tuwajibike, tulee watoto wetu jinsi inavyotakikana. Hata kama wewe ni maskini namna gani, usimtoe mtoto wako kama sadaka. Maanake kumtoa mtoto wako kwenda Ulaya na hujui anaenda wapi ni kama kumtoa sadaka. Tukae na watoto wetu, kama hakuna tutafute sote hapa Kenya. Mtoto akitoka kule Ulaya kama ako traumatized, tupigie simu, tutampeleka, atafanyiwa ushauri, tutamjenga polepole. Kama ni biashara tutamtafutia, hata wewe mama, hata wewe mzee, tutakupatia biashara.
In addition, Ms. Jane Adeya, a member of the movement, appealed to the government to ensure that all rogue agencies operating without valid documents are closed since they endanger the lives of gullible Kenyans.
Kitu ninachoomba tu, serikali yangu tukufu ya Kenya, mimi nawaomba tu kwa heshima na taadima, niko chini ya miguu yenu. Watoto wetu wakipelekwa ugaibuni, tafadhali hizi agent ambao ni rogue agent, maana tuwasikia wengine wanapeleka hata serikali haijui. Kwa nini wasitafute hizi rogue agent zifungwe? Maana hao ndio wanamaliza watoto wetu. Embassy kule ikiambiwa ya huko ugaibuni, wakiangalia kwenye nanio yao hakuna mtu kama huyo amekuja kule. Ni kama wameenda kinyume na sheria. Serikali ifunge. We are losing our young girls.
The Mama Kenya movement remains committed to protecting Kenyan workers abroad and calls on the government to act swiftly to safeguard vulnerable citizens from exploitation.
Now from there, let's move on to Kisii County, where we'll take a look at the health benefits, or rather the healthcare benefits that residents like there are getting from private stakeholders. Take a look.
Dr. Edward Mairura, speaking in Kisii, explained that the Mairura Foundation's mission is to make the world a better place by restoring movement and reducing pain, highlighting some, such as treatment of fractures, joint replacement, trauma, bad hips and bad knees. By providing free expert orthopedic care, they help patients regain mobility and improve their quality of life, especially those who can't afford proper treatment.
The team here is coming in to basically offer non-surgical treatment of some of the most common orthopedic ailments. So you think about things that affect the knee, the hip, the shoulder. And then we're also taking care of some of the fracture patients from motorcycle crashes, or the piki-pikis, as we would say here locally. And then we're also doing elective joint replacement, so replacing people's knees and people's hips. This is our second year here, so we're grateful to have the opportunity to come back.
However, patients reported challenges such as insufficient numbers of doctors and long waiting queues, leading to delays in care. These issues create barriers to accessing timely medical attention and support, affecting their ability to manage health effectively.
Nikaonana na madaktari last week. Wakaniambia nikuje jana, lakini kwa sababu ya msongamano wa watu jana ikabidi hakuweza kumaliza, ikabidi nikuje tena leo.
Na ninaona ya kwamba ni madaktari waongezewe na kama inawezekana.
On the other hand, Dr. Duncan Mosioma addressed key challenges in promoting healthy lifestyles, including poor dietary habits, lack of awareness about balanced nutrition, difficulty in managing weight, and low physical activity levels. He stressed that many struggle to watch their diet and stay active consistently, increasing risk of lifestyle-related diseases and impacting overall health negatively.
What has been said, that is about our lifestyle, watching over our weight and being active generally. It's about our health-seeking tendencies. Those who are sick don't have a tendency to go to hospital and seek aid. So we have one today, tomorrow we have 2, 3, and the numbers keep surging. And the reason for that is simple. The cost of healthcare has always been high, and the living standards of our people, actually we have a population that is basically poor. And some orthopedic cases, when you do them without such an arrangement as this one, they go to an extent of half a million.
The Mairura founders emphasized to remain dedicated to patients to make the world a better place for everyone.
Now, the Nyeri deaf community has welcomed a proposal by the Kenya Wildlife Service to exempt persons with disabilities from paying entry fees at national parks, reserves, marine parks, and sanctuaries.
During a public participation session at the Nyeri Cultural Center, members of the deaf community praised the exemption proposal as a major step towards inclusivity in domestic tourism. Under the plan, PWDs will only be required to present their National Disability Registration Card to gain free entry. Rahab Wairima, who is the Nyeri County Deaf Association chairperson, urged authorities to also adopt inclusive hiring practices in park services. She called for job opportunities for deaf youths, particularly recent school leavers, recommending the engagement in support roles to ensure better representation and promote equality within park staff.
It's better to employ them there. Example, to sweep, it's to cook. They can. It's possible. Before they join college, it's possible. Also, it's good that we employ the deaf, because there I am not so sure if we have one deaf who's serving there as the staff. We should at least employ one deaf.
Kenya Wildlife Service Senior Assistant Director Lucy Mwita, on her part, backed the proposed reviewing of park entry fees, offering free access to seniors over 70 years, children under 5 years, and persons with disabilities.
And also having another category of people who are going to enjoy going to the park after the removal of the concession fee. That is the people with a disability, people who are senior over 70 years. They'll be able to enter to our parks free of charge, and also children who are below 5 years. Today we also appreciate, we had a team of 7 people living with a disability, and they were able to appreciate the proposal that we have presented to them.
The new fee structure will also see citizens pay 1,500 shillings to access premium parks like Lake Nakuru and Amboseli. African citizens will pay 6,400 shillings, while international tourists will part with 11,600 shillings. For urban and wilderness parks like Nairobi and Tsavo, citizens will pay 1,000 shillings, African citizens 5,100 shillings, and international visitors 10,000 shillings. Lucy noted that the move aims to address 12,000 billion shillings funding gap limiting wildlife protection and efforts against poaching and human-wildlife conflict. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, Malindi non-governmental organization, by training farmers, is promoting use of waste from household dump sites in agriculture, saying that it is important in improving soil fertility, enhancing plant growth, and maintaining ecological balance. Here is the full report.
A local non-governmental organization has established 8 farmers' field school in Malindi and Magarini sub-counties to promote the use of household waste as an alternative to chemical fertilizers. In an ambitious initiative aimed at addressing climate change, the Institute of Participatory Development Kulamusana is empowering farmers groups to venture into agroforestry by using waste from household dump sites as natural fertilizer. Mr. Raphael Mzungu Ngoma, the NGO's executive director, explained that this organization had launched the initiative to raise awareness among farmers about the importance of growing food crops while simultaneously planting trees to help restore the environment.
Sababu tukaanzisha mradi huu ili tuwasaidie ama tuwahamasishe wananchi ama wakulima waweze kuzalisha chakula, lakini wakati huo tuweze kupanda miti ili tuweze kurudisha hali ya mazingira yetu. Ni jukumu letu kuhakikisha kwamba mchanga tunautunza, tukipanda tukivuna turudishe rutuba, na tunaweza kuirudishaje.
Acting Magarini Sub-County Administrator Matilda Baya lauded the organization for the initiative, which she said will go a long way in mitigating climate change while at the same time boosting agricultural production at low costs.
Kilimo hiki ambacho leo tuko nacho hapa ni tofauti kidogo na yale mambo ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya. Hao wako na mradi ambao unaitwa Zalani Initiative. Ambao Zalani Initiative ni mradi ambao unakuza mimea, lakini hasa wanatumia zile mbolea za kiasilia. Kwa hivyo members wa hizi groups ambao wako hapa wamefundishwa jinsi ya kutengeneza manyua za kinyumbani, kutumia the local available materials ili kusaidia upande wa.
Janet Chanzera, the vice chairman of the Garashi Zoingwani, say that the school had enlightened local farmers on the use of natural fertilizers and pesticides to preserve the environment and also reduce diseases associated agricultural chemicals.
Ona huu mradi umetusaidia sana kwa sababu mwanzoni sisi tulikuwa tunatumia madawa ya madukani. Lakini tulipopata hii elimu ya Zalani, tunatumia mbolea ya asili. Na hiyo mbolea asili hununui, unachukua tu hapo kwa boma yako na unapima kulingana na vipimo. Unachukua debe moja la mchanga unachanganya na mbolea ya asili debe moja. Ukichanganya ndo unaweka kwa mmea wako. Na tumeona imetusaidia manake tunavuna sahihi.
Wito wangu kwa vijana, naomba tujitolee, tukumbatie hii kilimo Zala, tukipanda hii miti kama vijana, tujiunge makundi, tupande hizi mboga na kupanda miti. Tukipanda miti tunaweza iuza tukapata pesa, na pia hizi tunaweza panda mchicha, mabenda, mabiringanya, kama kundi tunaweza uza tupate pesa na tujiendeleze kama vijana. Hii kilimo Zala.
Natural fertilizers are preferred over chemical fertilizers because they enrich soil health, promoting microbial activity, hence preventing chemical buildup, reducing environmental pollution. Enhanced nutrient absorption supports sustainable farming and produce healthier crops.
Now we are getting into the sports world. On to Chan updates. Excitement continues to build as Kenya national football team Harambee Stars gears up for their second group stage match against Angola this Thursday at Kasarani Stadium. Coach Benin McCarthy's boys will be aiming for a second consecutive win in the Chan tournament to keep alive their dream of qualifying for the knockout stage. After their tough battle against Angola, Kenya is expected to return to action this Sunday against Morocco and will wrap up their group fixtures with a clash against Zambia at Kasarani Stadium.
technically good. The league is very strong, so they've got a lot of very potential, great talents coming through.
Was a sector from the support the past few days. Everyone is ready for the challenge tomorrow against our next opponents. So, as we said earlier, it's just one at a time, no rushing anything. So we focus for tomorrow, big clash.
Now at that juncture, we will call it a wrap here on KUTV News at 9. It is a pleasure having you here with us once again. My name is Yvonne Kemuma, and on the sign language interpretation was Brian Peru. And on behalf of the rest of the team, have a good night and do enjoy the rest of your programming.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV.